Good afternoon. The Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, the IFP leader, Velenkosini Hlabisa, has just delivered a public lecture in honour of the whistleblower Babeta in Stellenbosch. Diakaran was shot dead after showing how millions of rand was being stolen from the Tembisa hospital. Several men are in jail for a killing, but the mastermind's never been identified. Meanwhile, over the weekend, one of the witnesses at the Madlanga Commission, Marius van der Merwe, was murdered. Minister Hlabisa, good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for your time. Why did you find it important to give this lecture today in honour of Babeta and in honour of whistleblowers?
Thank you very much, Stephen, and the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. I found it very relevant and important that I deliver this annual lecture in honor of Babeta, who was a courageous whistleblower who stood and told the truth against corruption. This annual lecture takes place during the time when the Madlanga Commission is listening to witnesses telling shocking stories that has affected the resources of our country. The main message: courage, telling the truth, should not be an act of certain individuals. It should be everybody in the nation. In order to rebuild our communities and our societies, we need ethical individuals, ethical leaders who will speak out against corruption. As we rightly know that even over the weekend, we experienced a painful tragedy on Witness D, who shared shocking information that has been happening within the corridors of our country. This lecture, therefore, comes at a relevant time that the government in all three spheres, one, it must activate timeously the protection of whistleblowers so that all people who want to tell the truth are encouraged, knowing they will not remain alone and exposed with no protection.
Do you believe then that the government, and I know your colleague in government, the Justice Minister Mameloko Kubaya, is looking at this, but do you believe that the government needs to provide witness protection for the other people who've testified at the Madlanga Commission and the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee as well, if they need it?
Those who shared the information which they say we are under threat for the information we shared, we encourage them that they must come forth to the government to request the protection. And some people who have been witness, they did not expose anything that puts their lives in danger because they were witnesses of the information they know. But there are witnesses who shared critical information which really deserves to be protected, and we want to urge them. They must not decline protection given by the state, even if they feel nothing is going to happen. It is always good to take precautions to ensure that you avoid and you prevent the danger before it happens.
We have seen government many times, and especially after the Zondo Commission has promised it will protect people who expose corruption. And yet we suddenly saw what happened to Witness D, to Marius van der Merwe over the weekend. Do you think government is there a reason why government hasn't done more to help people like Diakaran and van der Merwe?
Yes, Stephen, if we can now focus to the future, that what happened to Babeta, what happened to Witness D, and what also has happened to many witnesses who die in silence without receiving prominent coverage, should come to an end. As we go forward, we should activate. I spoke more about the local municipalities that municipal managers must be vigilant when a person has come forth with the information that puts his or her life in danger, especially telling truth against corruption. The protection must be activated immediately in order to protect life and the family, because when a person has done the act of being a witness on critical information, even his or her family is placed on danger. From now onwards, we must have learned in a hard way. We cannot carry on losing lives where we can protect them. And I'm glad that even the president spoke very sharply about what happened over the weekend, which is a continuation of many other instances, that the government is on board to all witnesses, and people must not be afraid, even to the current commission, to come and expose more, because we need to uproot the evil with its roots in building our community and our country.
Minister, you're the Minister of Cooperative Governance, and I'm sure you saw at the Madlanga Commission last week the testimony of the former city manager of Ekurhuleni, Dr. Imogen Marshazi, and you sort of watched it. I mean, I think many people saw her testimony. They saw the testimony of Julius Mkhwanazi, the suspended head of the Metro Police there. Are you worried about the situation in Ekurhuleni after listening to all of that?
Indeed, the situation at Ekurhuleni, if you listen to all the testimonies, the evidence that has been shared before the Madlanga Commission, it's worrying. And I'm glad that the mayor of Ekurhuleni is vigilant in taking actions, even to review the appointments which have been flagged as irregular. But this is a message to all our municipalities that from the provincial government to the national government, as we play an oversight, we need to be vigilant to ensure that what has prevailed at Ekurhuleni in the past years does not continue prevailing in other municipalities or moving from Ekurhuleni, because now Ekurhuleni is going to be under spotlight to other municipalities. We all have a responsibility to fight back against corruption. The civil society plays a critical role. I thanked them and encourage them as we are together with them here in this inaugural lecture, that their views, their role is of great importance in healing our country and ensuring that we build a future for our children that will be free from corruption.
So Minister, in the case of Babeta Deokaran, the people who actually pulled the trigger are in jail, but we don't know who paid them. They haven't said. In the case of Marius van der Merwe, witness D, we don't know. The police say they're speaking to people of interest. In the case of so many municipal managers, audit officials, other people in local councils that you deal with, we know that someone has been killed, often for blowing the whistle. We often know who actually did it. They're a hitman, they're an Nkabi for hire, whatever it is. But we never find the mastermind, and isn't that really the problem?
Stephen, I even mentioned it, that we are glad that the people who killed Babeta are in jail. But the story and the tragedy around the life of Babeta remains not complete without knowing the masterminds. And we are hoping and praying that the truth at the end be known. Our investigative teams should never make this matter rest until we know the masterminds, because they will be carrying on. Even on the case of witness D, we just believe that the people who are being interrogated with results into swift arrest as well as also to the sponsors of this tragedy, so that we remove the cancer of murder in our society, which is sponsored by people who are well-placed and sometimes well-resourced in terms of money, because the hitmen are paid by someone who have plenty. In most cases, the money belonging to the mastermind is a corruption, resources robbed from the community to kill the community, which we need to stand, all of us as a nation, to bring to an end. And it will be through people telling the truth, and the government has a responsibility to protect the whistleblowers.
Minister, thank you very much indeed for your time, sir. I really do appreciate it. Velenkosini Hlabisa, the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, speaking to us on Daytime Update today.